Hey listeners, we originally planned on releasing a Smash Fiction match this week, but as many of you who interact with us on social media will know, our regular host Megan Bob and frequent guest host Neil Butler were involved in a car accident recently. Thankfully, they're both fine physically, at least so far, but this ordeal has understandably placed a great deal of stress on them, and they suddenly have a lot of extra stuff to worry about and take care of. This means that we've had to change our recording schedule a bit, which in turn means that our release schedule for the month of July will be slightly off. We should still be able to release everything on time, it'll just be in a slightly different order than usual. Anyway, we'll announce our next match at the end of this episode, and if you have a moment, please send some kind words to Megan, Bob, and Neil. They'd love to hear from you. Thanks. And there came a day, unlike any other, when Earth's most opinionated podcasters were united in search of a common goal. On that day, Smash Metafiction was born, to unite the heroes of the multiverse in an adventure called Surprise Party. Loki, the Norse god of mischief and evil, has been expelled from Golden Asgard. Seeking both power and revenge, Loki has thrown his lot in with the Chitauri, a massive alien hive of bioengineered warriors and monsters that thrive on slaughter and bloodshed. All Loki needs to do is assist the Chitauri in their invasion of Earth. To that end, Loki arrives at a top-secret S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, where he uses his mind-controlling scepter to dominate several special agents and steal the powerful object known as the Tesseract. The first stage of his plan is complete, and the Earth is one step closer to certain doom. But Earth is not without its champions. Except this time, the world won't be saved by the likes of Iron Man, Captain America, and all of them, no sir, because this is Surprise Party, and we're gonna see who among us can assemble the greatest group of Avengers. I'm Dan Mulcairn, although I won't be revealed as the Puppet Master until the post-credit sequence. Spoilers. With me in the bullpen this time around are Claire Mulcairn.
Metafiction Smash? That's the best I got.
Kip Mulcairn.
Surprise! I forgot to come up with a thing to say.
And Liz Logan.
It was a mistake to have me on this.
That remains to be seen. For those of you new to Surprise Party, the idea is that we're taking a classic team-centric story, in this case the Avengers movie from 2012, and we're replacing the central characters with characters from other fictional properties. Each of the SmashFic hosts here with me will create their own party to help protect the Earth from Loki and his alien armada. Once each of the advocates have their teams created, I'll present them with challenges that they encounter along the way. The advocates will take turns choosing a character from their team and explain how they deal with that challenge. After that point, their chosen character is unusable for the remainder of the game. At the end of each challenge, I'll decide privately which character met the challenge the best and award points to the advocates accordingly. Then we will move on. At the end of the game, as our heroes sit down for some well-earned shawarma, I'll see which advocate had the most points, and they and their party will be declared the winner. So first off, let's choose your characters, and in order to do that, we're going to be rolling initiative. So everyone roll your d20s and let me know what you get.
7.
14.
5.
5. All right, so the order then will be Liz, then Claire, then Kit, but this order will be rotating every round. The first character slot each of you will be filling is the leader. The leader is a character who commands attention, whether they've decided to wear an actual flag as their outfit or not. The leader has a keen tactical mind and plenty of combat experience. They're smart enough to know how best to direct their allies, and inspiring enough to push those allies to their fullest. They may not be the most powerful member of the team, but they are almost certainly the team's heart. Liz, who is your leader?
Oh no.
It's so dumb. I'm not going to be winning anything. It's King Leonidas.
What's the leader?
King Leonidas from 300. Pretty good.
His resume includes a leather thong, a body made of sculpted steel,
And oiled up sculpted steel.
an oiled beard that is quite pointy, and he led 299 other Spartans to their happy, happy death.
And wielding a very anachronistic Scottish accent in ancient Greece. It's very good.
Yes.
Excellent. Leonidas from 300 is Liz's leader. Claire, who is your leader?
So yeah, I'm picking another person who was, young, not the most physically strong person out there, and everyone thought that they didn't stand a chance in the army, yet they entered in despite everyone telling them it was a bad idea and managed to turn the tide in a war and drive away an enemy and save their kingdom. I'm going to pick Mulan.
Oh, shit.
Good choice. Mulan, presumably from Disney's Mulan.
Indeed. Mulan she's from ancient China. Her father gets conscripted to serve in the army to protect against the Huns, but her father is very old, and she worries that if he goes off to war, he's going to die. So she takes his place and pretends to be his son. She ends up being really good at being in the military. She's very inventive and comes up with some unusual tactics that help win a couple of battles. Eventually, she gets exposed for what she is, being a woman in disguise, but in the end still manages to save the day.
Yeah, no, she's a great choice for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Kit, who is your leader?
Colonel Roy Mustang.
Colonel Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes. He is a state alchemist of the Amestrian state military. Alchemy in this setting functions like kind of a rules-heavy magic, and each state alchemist has their own specialty, and his is the manipulation of fire. He can snap his fingers with these flint-lined gloves and make immensely large explosions.
And he's also very, very tactically savvy, which I think makes him a really good choice for that slot. The next character slot is the Inventor. This character is smart and quick-thinking, likely possessing a vast well of knowledge, as well as the capability to learn and develop new skills with ease. The Inventor likely has a great deal of skill with technology, meaning that they will be able to create useful devices for themselves and their allies, as well as being able to sabotage or steal technology from their enemies. Claire, who is your Inventor?
So, all right, at one point I had 4 Disney characters on the list. Now it's just 2, but this is my second one. My Inventor is Edna Mode.
Okay,
good.
that's quite good. Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Edna is a costume designer for superheroes. She is very fashion forward thinking and very opinionated when it comes to fashion and the aesthetics and philosophies behind designing superhero outfits in general. We see both in The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2 that she's just very brilliant, like up there with Tony Stark or Shuri or whoever you want to choose from the MCU who makes crazy super tech, except hers looks fabulous.
Yeah, it sure does. Excellent choice. Kit, who is your Inventor?
So this is kind of a bit of a stretch, but I'm gonna have to go with Radical Ed from Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, all right. Ed doesn't do a ton of inventing, but she's certainly very smart and very technology savvy, so I think she works.
You don't see a bunch of inventing in the show, but she does it, and she makes her shit out of scraps. Now, she's technically more of a hacker, but the little device that controls other people's ships was not a thing that existed. She put that shit together.
Yeah. Okay. Liz, who is your Inventor?
My Inventor is Gordon Freeman from Half-Life.
All right. Another beardy man on your team.
He is an MIT graduate in theoretical physics. He doesn't talk much, but because everyone seems to know what he's thinking and communicates with him as if he were talking, I'm going to assume he can communicate telepathically.
Okay, sure.
Just very strong body language.
He was hired by a super secret research facility by the name of Black Mesa, and he's really, really fucking good at stacking boxes and climbing up into hard-to-reach places and crawling through air ducts.
All very important skills for an inventor to have.
Also shooting things. He doesn't even need to aim down sights. He's just really good.
Big fan of crowbars.
Big fan.
The third character slot is the Elemental. For whatever reason, the Elemental has been granted incredible power, allowing them to affect large areas at once, often in very dramatic ways. Whether it's summoning a thunderstorm, freezing a city block solid, or opening up a rift of lava beneath a group of enemies, the Elemental is a force to be reckoned with. It should be noted, though, that a character does not strictly need to use elemental forces in order to be considered an elemental. They just need to have some sort of ability to change the battlefield in big ways. Kit, who is your elemental?
I went with Lulu from Final Fantasy X. She is #GothGoals, first of all. She has an amazing black dress, mostly made out of belts, and a very provocative top. She is a black mage. She casts a lot of the most offensive spells in the game. Her standard attacks are with these little dolls.
Yeah, she kind of animates dolls and sends them after enemies.
Yeah, somewhat of a voodoo vibe. That was part of the inspiration for her.
All right, excellent. Liz, who is your elemental?
Let the hate flow through you.
Okay, great.
Emperor Palpatine.
Emperor Sheev Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious from Star Wars.
He's extremely evil, looks really fucked up, but we shouldn't judge him based on that. But it's because of his evilness, so we should judge him based on that. Major powers include Force Lightning, being a major asshole, convincing people to do really dumb things with really weak strawman arguments, and wearing really boring plain black robes.
Excellent. Claire, who is your elemental?
I picked Toph Beifong from Avatar.
I had a feeling Toph might be showing her head. Toph from Avatar.
What are we gonna do? Not pick Toph? Come on.
No jury in the world would convict you. Tell us about Toph.
She comes from a noble family in the Earth Kingdom. In addition to being absurdly good at earthbending, which is basically like a form of telekinesis where you can control a specific element, but you do it through doing martial arts. She can also do metal bending. She is the first person to learn how to do that, so she can bend metal with her mind. She is also blind, but has this ability to, since she has like earthbending powers, she can sense tremors and movement in the earth as long as she's touching it. So she can sort of see anything that's touching the ground. And in order to keep this active at all times, she never wears shoes. She always just walks around barefoot.
She's awesome. The fourth character slot is the Brick. The Brick is sometimes big, sometimes mean, but always powerful. The Brick is likely to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, combatants on any battlefield they find themselves in. But importantly, while they're capable of dishing out lots of punishment, they can also take a lot of abuse themselves without stopping. Liz, who is your Brick?
Selene from Underworld.
Wow, an interesting choice.
So Selene is a vampire from the lovely Underworld series. I know Miles is probably like screaming at me right now, but
actually he very much enjoys Underworld,
yes!
As I recall.
So it's set in a world where it's vampires versus lycans, aka werewolves, and she's one of the top, God, what do they call it?
Death dealer.
Yes. So it's kind of like a hitman or hit woman, whatever you want to say. She's really, really strong, can take a ton of punishment. Yeah, she's really cool.
She doesn't fit the kind of hulkish silhouette that we would associate with the Brick, but she absolutely fits the power set, so good choice.
Yeah, vampire. She doesn't need to be hulking. She just needs to be sexy and wear leather.
Claire, who is your Brick?
I'm gonna go with Diva from Overwatch.
Ooh,
oh, interesting.
Another good pick.
In the not-too-distant future, there's a bunch of evil robots that become self-aware and start taking over the world called Omnics. And in order to defeat some giant Omnics that are attacking Korea, they were trying to fight them off with drones for a while, but the Omnics actually have the ability to hack into the drones and like take control over them. So they had to instead start putting pilots into the robots that they were wanting to send at the enemy robots, but they didn't have like a military force of pilots big enough to do that. So they started recruiting pro gamers. And Diva was a popular like gamer and streamer who played a lot of video games. She's like super popular, multi-hyphenate celebrity superstar who then became a mecha pilot who like fights giant robots and protects Korea. She pilots a big pink mech that has jump jets in it, and it can take a whole lot of damage. And it also has a really useful ability that's good for protecting people called Defense Matrix, where she projects out this like sort of field, and if any projectiles pass through the field, like little lasers on her mech like zap them down and stop them. So she can like just nullify projectiles in an area. So she's very good at like taking damage and protecting people.
She also has tactical self-destruct on her mech.
Yes.
Which is very potent. Kit, who is your Brick?
Aloha!
Ah, hey!
Have you've not used him in Surprise Party yet?
Nope.
All right.
Wow, a common face on Smash Fiction.
If somehow, dear listener, you don't know who we're all referring to, I picked Stitch.
Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Stitch, also known as Experiment 626, was created by a mad scientist, but he got loose, and then he got to planet Earth, and he crash landed there on Hawaii. Now, unfortunately, one of the problems is he's got a very, very dense mass, and so he can't swim, he just kind of sinks. So he was stuck on Hawaii, and then a beautiful family adventure ensued.
Mm-hmm. Stitch is a very good character for a Brick. Another one that doesn't quite match the Hulk silhouette, but listen to any episode of Extraordinary League for an example of what Stitch is capable of.
He has the mass of the Hulk condensed.
Yeah, basically.
The density is the same.
The fifth character slot is the Spy. Not every problem can be solved with a repulsor beam or an unbreakable shield. When a job calls for finesse, you turn to the spy. The spy specializes in being sneaky, whether that means being able to move unseen and unheard, being skilled at misdirection, or being able to convince people of whatever outlandish lie you happen to come up with. The spy is cunning, resourceful, and often carries one or more secrets up their sleeve, whether it's gadgetry, disguises, or any number of unexpected tricks. Claire, who is your spy?
I'm gonna go with Major Matoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell.
Right.
Oh, nice.
She finally needs a chance to redeem herself, because we had an episode a while ago, Kusanagi versus Rick Deckard, and let's say I was not happy with certain decisions that were made in that episode, but that's in the past. I don't think about that anymore, ever. I've moved on. It's fine. It's fine. So Kusanagi is a sort of like super spy. She's a fully augmented cyborg. She has basically a human brain, but everything else about her is robotic. She is super agile, super good reflexes. She can turn invisible. She has a bunch of advanced futuristic weaponry. She's also has very good sort of detective skills. She's good at finding clues. She's good at hacking. She's also good at like constructing psychological profiles of the people that she's tracing. She's great.
All right. Well, you are establishing a very solid brand for your team with your 80% Asian ladies so
I didn't
far.
even realize.
Kit, who is your spy?
Jace Beleren
Oh,
from Magic
boy.
the Gathering.
Very good.
So he's a planeswalker, which are sorcerers, but sorcerers that can pass to other worlds.
Yeah, they're like super wizards that can naturally travel between dimensions.
Exactly. And now Jace's specialty is mind magic. He's a telepath. He's fucking brilliant with illusions. He is so precise with his mindfuckery abilities that he can change people's memories. He can just surgically remove people's memories, even his own.
Yeah, he makes for a great spy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Liz, who is your spy?
Austin Powers. Yeah,
Yes.
baby, yeah. Austin Powers has his own series of movies. He actually also does travel through dimensions if going from the 90s to the 70s counts. He is a international man of mystery. He works for MI6. His superpowers include extreme mojo and being able to make fembots explode just with a single look and hip thrust.
I was thinking you might very well choose James Bond, and I don't know why Austin Powers did not cross my mind. The sixth and final character slot is the Dumpus. The Dumpus may have some sort of skills or abilities, but for whatever reason, they are much more likely to be a liability to the party than an asset. Maybe they don't exactly have world-shaking cosmic power, or if they do, maybe their power causes more harm than good. Maybe they tend to not make especially good plans and end up in trouble. Or maybe they're just the type of person that decides to jump into superpowered danger armed with nothing more than a bow and arrow. The players will not be choosing their own Dumpus, however. They will be assigning a Dumpus role to another player. Kit, who is Liz's Dumpus?
I think I want to give you this gift, Liz. So you're welcome. I'm going to give you Skeletor.
Skeletor from He-Man!
My dude, happy birthday.
Oh, you're too nice. I'm gonna write that down.
He's like an evil sorcerer. Well, he's got like a staff that could cast magic.
Yeah, I mean, he
Yeah.
can do magic himself, but yes.
Yeah, he's got a lot of minions for some reason. The only reason I can imagine is they're even weaker than he is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically like an army of monster men and racial stereotypes.
Yep, that's right. Liz, who is Claire's Dumpus?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, jeez.
SpongeBob is a sponge that lives in a pineapple under the sea, who's absorbent and yellow and porous.
Is
in
he?
tea. But
Alright.
anyways, he's a fry cook at the Krusty Krab, makes a mean Krabby Patty, and he has an ongoing feud with his, what is Squidward, an octopus? No, he's not
A
an octopus.
squid?
He's a squid.
Maybe? Try squid? Squidward?
So anyways, I swear I am not the dumpest, but yeah, Squidward is a squid, even though he has legs.
They're tentacles.
He's
Those
standing.
don't
as-
look like real tentacles. I've been bamboozled.
Alright, well-
I'm an idiot.
It's a cartoon.
So anyways,
looks like a
SpongeBob, the sponge that wears a fucking tie and pants and shoes, will be Claire's dumpus.
Great. And I will also point out that SpongeBob is considerably tinier than any other character that's been brought out so far, even tinier than Stitch. Claire, who is Kit's Dumpus?
Kit's Dumpus is going to be Mr. Furious from Mystery Men.
Oh, That's very good.
His name is Roy. He works at a junkyard and wants to be a superhero. And he dresses all in black, trench coat and everything, and has a little bit of like a Frank Miller anti-hero vibe, or at least he thinks he does. And he has the power of, when he gets angry, he gets incredibly strong, or at least he thinks he does. There is a notable story in his past. There was one time where he lifted a bus when he got really angry, but throughout the movie you learn, well, it was more like a push, wasn't really a lift, and maybe the driver had his foot on the accelerator at the beginning a little bit to help it along, but yeah.
Everyone now has a party of 6 characters, but before you start signing up the actors for 2 decades worth of movie contracts, we're going to play a quick round of musical chairs. So, each of you, please roll a d6. Liz, what did you roll?
5, Austin Powers.
Okay. Claire, what did you roll?
I got a 4, so Diva.
And Kit, what did you roll?
I got a 4, so Stitch.
Okay, so Liz will be giving Austin Powers to Claire. Claire will be giving Diva to Kit.
Woo! I can deal with that.
Kit will be giving Stitch to Liz. Yup.
Aw,
so I have no spy anymore.
You can use Stitch as your spy. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Celine can work as a spy too, so.
She sure can. Alright, players, please introduce your own versions of the Avengers, starting with Liz.
This is the Avengers! But then off the foot, it's like he's kicking Stitch like a ball, and Stitch is like going like, Ohana, your family! Aloha! I don't know. Kit's too good at it, and then Palpatine is doing a light show in the back with his lightning. Gordon Freeman is playing, I don't know, ball with Skeletor, like in the back, like with the gravity gun, and Celine is looking at her watch like, let's get this show on the road, please.
Okay, that is not how we introduce our characters, but it works.
That's how Liz introduces her characters.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a light show. It's like a metal show gone terribly wrong.
All right, Claire.
First up, I have Mulan as my leader, Captain China. For my inventor, I have Iron Edna. For my elemental, I have Toph, god of earth things. For my spy, I have the Scarlet Ghost in the shell, Motoko Kusanagi. For my other spy, I have Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I guess he's filling in for Bruce Banner. If his shirt rips, it's not going to be green underneath. He's just going to be
extremely hairy.
Extremely hairy. Yeah. And then I standing in the back, wielding the bow and arrow. I got my Dumpus/Hawkeye of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah. And Kit.
I do like the way that Claire was introducing, so I'll roll with that. So we've got Colonel Roy Mustang as, I guess, Colonel Amestris.
Okay, sure.
The inventor is Radical Ed, so I guess that's like Iron Edward. My elemental is Lulu, god of
black magic.
Black magic, yeah, sure. All the black magic. My brick is now Diva, the incredible Diva. My spy is Jace Beleren, so we'll just say the Azure Widower. And my Dumpus is Mr. Furious, who I guess would be an archer, except he broke them in rage.
Sure.
He broke all the arrows.
Tried to throw them.
And his bow, yep.
All right. Still no double Dumpus, but that day will come.
I think this counts for me. I think I have a double Dumpus situation.
I am in agreement.
All right. Face front, true believers. We've got a world to save. Chapter 1. Shoot to thrill. Loki may be starting this little story off with both a magical scepter and the Tesseract, but it looks like the man just can't get enough sweet, sweet MacGuffins, as he's gone to Stuttgart, Germany, in search of a source of iridium for his ultimate invasion plan. Fortunately, he's uncharacteristically bombastic in his attack, murdering people left and right, and forcing a whole crowd of civilians to kneel before him, meaning that your team is able to locate him before he gets away. Unfortunately, your teams are still getting the hang of the whole teamwork thing, so only one of your characters manages to get close enough to Loki to actually go toe-to-toe with the Asgardian. Liz, which character are you choosing to go up against Loki in Germany? And how will your chosen character defeat him, or at least keep him occupied for long enough for the rest of your team to arrive and take him down?
I'm sending Palpatine.
Great! Tell me about how this encounter between Palpatine and Loki goes.
What weapons does Loki have right now?
At the moment, he just has his scepter.
Is it an Infinity Stone?
It's the Mind Stone. It's the one that's eventually going to end up on Vision's face.
Okay, yes. Perfect. Palpatine has fucking Sith mind trick shit. So he's going to arrive in his robes, and Loki's going to feel insecure about his own cape not being as cool as Palpatine's robes. And Palpatine's going to lift back his hood and scare the ever-living shit out of Loki. And then it's going to be an intense mind game. They're going to duel telepathically, and finally, once Palpatine has somewhat of the upper hand, he's going to raise his hands and issue out Force Lightning, aiming specifically for the Infinity Stone, and then however the fuck Star Wars and comic logic works when combined together through the power of Disney, we'll just completely blast it open, destroy his scepter, catch Loki completely off guard, and then Palpatine will force choke him and throw him off a building and cut off his hand.
Wow, really going for broke on this one, Liz. Very ballsy.
Yes.
Claire, which character do you pick and how do they deal with this?
All right, so all I basically need to do right now is stall. I think this is a great use of Austin Powers.
Great. Tell me about how this scene goes.
He's going to show up, and he's going to pull out a cell phone, which he just got. He's very excited about the new technology because he just got unfrozen a little while ago. It has pretty good speakers on it, and he's showing it to Loki, and he puts on some very seductive music and sets it down on the ground. Loki's going to, of course, ask him, what are you doing? And he's going to say, oh, I just have to show you something. Come on over here. And then when Loki gets close to him, of course, he is going to, I suppose, push him down onto the cobblestones and then start dancing above him and doing do I make you horny, baby, on all of that.
Oh, I'm so uncomfortable for Loki.
And I think, Loki has encountered many, many powerful foes in his life, but we're outside of normal Smash Fiction bounds, so I can say this. The godly mojo of Austin Powers is going to be a force that is far beyond his limited Asgardian comprehension.
That's very good.
Claire, you are never so far away from Smash Fiction that you can use the word god.
Kit, how about you?
I think the only one who can stand against the god of lies is fucking Jace Valerian.
Oh boy, alright.
It's gonna be illusions all over the place. And you know what? Liz did mention cloaks, capes. Fuck Palpatine's cloak. Fuck Loki's fucking cape. Except, Loki's great. But fuck that cape, because Jace got the coolest goddamn cloak here. Awesome.
No capes.
Yellowing blue. Oh, and no, get out here! So Jace Valerian's whole thing is illusions, so is Loki's. However, Loki does not read minds, so Jace can keep a beat on him and fuck with Loki on his level, if not possibly more, dare I say? I don't know, but if anyone could stall, it's the Illusion Master. Also, if things get a little cray, Jace can also summon creatures to do actual fighting. So he's got it.
I was not expecting this first round to be so tough to judge. Chapter 2. From Out of Nowhere. Loki has been subdued and taken to the Helicarrier, the Titanic skyship that works as your team's mobile headquarters. He's possibly missing a hand in one of these continuities. He's locked away inside a virtually impenetrable prison in the center of the Helicarrier, leaving the smartest members of your team with the opportunity to examine his scepter and try to track down wherever he might have stashed the Tesseract. Unfortunately, your downtime doesn't last long, as a group of mind-controlled S.H.I.E.L.D. agents come crashing in, attempting to stage a rescue for their mischievous master. The Helicarrier is badly damaged, as Loki's minions swarm the hallways. Claire, you're up first this time. Choose a character to repel the invading minions, but choose carefully. Too much collateral damage could finish off the Helicarrier for good. Also, the minions are technically good guys, they're just being manipulated, but mainly just be careful with the Helicarrier.
I'm going to go with Toph Beifong for this one.
Okay.
You might think that because there's no natural element of Earth around, she might be at a bit of a disadvantage here, but this helicarrier is all made of metal, and she has shown by the end of Avatar that she's super good at bending that as well, and she's also super good at disabling people without killing them, so she's going to be able to do stuff like just bend hunks of the ship out of place and pin people without actually killing any of them, and with her ability to sense everything going on in the ship, she can sense everybody's footsteps as they're walking around. She can tell where invaders are coming from at all points. And also, after she's taken care of all of the invaders, she can actually go to the broken rotor on the ship and she can bend it back into shape. She can repair the ship too to make it not crash.
Strong start. Kit, it's your go.
Most of my people are a little too violent, except I think Lulu can pull this shit off.
Okay.
First of all, dem titties.
Okay.
That might be able to snap people out of... that might be able to snap some mind control out.
Sure.
Though she's not physically strong, she has really high evasion. She also can cast spells that makes her evasion even higher, so she's not going to get hit, even though we're on this relatively small flying vessel. So she has an ability called Double Cast, and her Overdrive is Fury. Both of those things allow her to cast multiple black magic spells in one turn, if you will. Now, not everything is fire and horribleness, like with Colonel Roy Mustang. She can actually use less damage spells, like Waterga, etc., etc. That's a black magic thing, so I think she will easily be able to stop these dudes without killing them.
Very nice.
And not get hit herself.
Yeah.
Also titties.
Liz, let's hear it.
I am picking Gordon Freeman.
Okay.
Because he is going to be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone in this situation. He has his trademark gravity gun, and what he's going to do is he is going to pick up pieces of the ship that's falling apart and use that to either knock out or incapacitate the people. He's dealt with this before with, like, Combine. So, as he's finding each piece to throw at someone, since he's a master scientist and physicist, he's going to be actually fixing the ship. Maybe he sees a pipe that's out of whack. He hits it with the gravity gun, goes back into place, and he's like, well, that doesn't need to be there. And he pulls that and uses that to incapacitate someone. If he needs to fix something, he can do that. But so he won't be killing anyone. He'll be fixing the ship, and they'll be on their merry way.
All right. Chapter 3, Unbroken. And you guys kind of started anticipating this one. Looks like the damage to the helicarrier was more serious than we thought at first. As your heroes fight off the invading minions and try to prevent Loki from escaping, one of the ship's engines fails, and the helicarrier itself begins to fall from the sky. This is what we in the hero biz refer to as suboptimal. Kit, it is your turn first. Choose a character and tell me what they're doing to address this crisis. Are they trying to fix the engine? Do they want to find another way of setting the helicarrier down safely? Are they just planning on escaping the ship before it crashes somehow? Or is there something else you had in mind to avoid becoming a scorch mark in the countryside?
How about Radical Ed?
Cool.
I don't think she can do rapid ship fixing. She's not like Kaylee from Firefly times 10 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But she's an extremely good hacker. That's her main thing. She's also got a device that insta-hacks any nearby flying vehicle, so she can just insta-hack a bunch of nearby flying vehicles, like a helicopter or several, and then just, forget helicarriers. Let's just do regular evacuation helicopters that fly up to the falling helicarrier, and everyone can just get on those.
Okay.
Very fine.
Interesting tactic. Liz, you're next. Who steps up to this challenge? Okay.
Does he?
What's Skeletor doing in this crisis?
So Skeletor is first going to freak out and call everyone, "Yo, Bob!" And then he's going to pull out his crystal ball and search for a solution. And in his crystal ball, he realizes that all he needs is his Havoc Staff. And since the Havoc Staff is extremely powerful, he is going to use the crystal ball to learn a new spell of sorts. And he's going to use the raw energy from the Havoc Staff to create a bubble of sorts around the ship. He can't do anything else than try to do something that demonstrates how large and powerful he is to stroke his ego.
Okay. Claire, wow me with your brilliance.
All right. I think this is going to be Motoko Kusanagi is going to help out with this one.
Okay.
So I think what she's going to do in order to fix this is upload her own consciousness into the main computers of the helicarrier. Because it has, in theory, some, self-repair and robotic stuff going on in it. And she's going to sort of, upgrade and repurpose all of the pieces of the helicarrier that she can gain control of by entering into it. And basically just sort of, repair it and also upgrade it. And it is going to become her new cybernetic body.
That is some Marvel Comics shit.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. Pretty sure Ultron's done that before, so. Chapter 4. We're in this together. The dust settles in whatever remains of the helicarrier as your characters assess the damage. It's a grim sight. Many agents lost their lives to those they considered friends. Worse, it seems that Loki somehow escaped his prison, meaning that even more lives are now in danger. But what hits home the hardest is seeing the blood on the floor outside Loki's former jail cell. Lying in this pool of blood is a dying friend, who tried and failed to stop Loki from escaping, and is now only moments away from oblivion. Liz, which character was mortally injured in their fight against Loki? And what do they say to inspire their friends to carry on the fight after they die?
Stitch.
Oh no!
You bastard!
Liz, you're cold-blooded.
Oh, you monster.
No, because he's the only one that can deliver something as sweet. Everyone gathers around him as he's going,
Liz, that's...
Ohana means family.
Oh no. Not like this, Liz.
You are my family.
This is supposed to be a comedy show, Liz.
Wow.
You are
no,
my
that's very
family.
good.
And
Oh.
Leonidas is gonna reach down and close Stitch's eyes and be like, he was a good ball of blue fur. He was a true hero. My sweet prince, good night.
Liz, you're a monster.
I know, I'm sorry, Kit.
Claire, your turn.
I think if ever there was a time, a problem that could be solved by a dumpus, this might be it. So I'm going to say SpongeBob SquarePants. So.
Yes!
Yep.
SpongeBob tried to stop Loki.
He did. He tried to help. He tried to do his best.
Yeah.
Whatever is left of him after getting stabbed, I guess, by Loki, is looking up at them and says, I thought I was going to get to take you to Bikini Bottom someday and take you jellyfishing, but I guess that's not going to happen. Don't be sad. I knew this day had to come eventually, and I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And...
Oh, that's so sad.
He's like, and you know what? All of you, you're ready too.
That's really good. Kit, let's hear what you're going with.
There can only be one Roy on this team, so Mr. Furious is the one that's dying.
I mean, he would try to take on Loki by himself.
Yeah, they basically find him, and he's like, fuck, I'm in a super amount of pain right now. But no, he reassures them that he's fine, that he's just really sleepy. But, you know what? I'll keep dreaming, and when I wake up, Loki better hope he's asleep. And he dies. And everyone just kind of looks at each other like, was that supposed to be inspired?
The Sphinx is in the background, and a single tear goes down as he that was beautiful.
Right.
That's the beautiful cryptic bullshit I taught him.
All right. Chapter 5. The Battle of New York. Loki's plan has come to fruition. Placing the Tesseract in a special device atop one of Manhattan's most prominent skyscrapers, he has opened a gigantic wormhole above the city of New York, and thousands of invading Chitauri have poured out, immediately wreaking violence on an unthinkable scale. Fortunately, the Avengers are there. They may be tired and beaten down, but they haven't given up yet, and they're in the mood to punch something. Claire, we are starting with you. Tell me how your two remaining characters lead the charge into the alien invaders, and how they use teamwork to fight back against the oncoming tide.
All right, well, my two remaining characters are Mulan and Edna Mode, so I'm feeling very good about this. So I think before this scene starts, Edna Mode is actually going to reveal a set of new costumes for everyone else on the team, and that's going to be her main way of contributing. And I think in memory of SpongeBob, they're all going to be like, these yellow outfits that have like little like porous sponge pattern on them, and they all are going to wear little like red ties.
Wow.
They all wear square pants.
Yes. But I think that they're going to be, the tie is actually just going to be painted on because, Edna's not a fan of like dangling fabrics that have a chance of getting caught on things. She's going to give Toph like a little like headset goggly thing that like can improve her like ability to sense, so she can sense even further and like sense across the city and can like amplify her earth manipulation abilities. For Kusanagi, who I realize now has been upgraded into into the helicarrier, I guess she's going to give her the ability to like transform into like a giant mecha robot. She gives her another mode she can take.
Pretty good costume.
I was thinking like paint a pinup babe on the side of the helicarrier.
Sure. A picture of Austin Powers on the side of it. Yes.
Oh my god, yes.
Austin Powers, here's his outfit. The front of it's tearaway so that he can show off his chest hair to throw the enemy off their game. Like, that's his great power. Mulan's gonna get an outfit that's like a bunch of like high-tech Iron Man style, like Chinese warrior armor stuff.
Nice.
I also think it's gonna have the ability that she can press a button on it and it's going to transform into normal like civilian clothes. So she can pretend to be like a normal scared civilian and then like stab people. And I think that that's gonna be one of Mulan's tactics. Pretend to be a normal fleeing scared citizen until the right moment. And then ambush people.
All right. Kit, it's your turn.
Oh boy, did I end with two amazing people.
Yeah, you did.
So Colonel Roy Mustang by himself can do an incredible amount of damage to an army. He can take out like a swath, like a whole fucking chunk of an army with one snap of his finger. So it's just like all over this fucking city. Definitely collateral damage though. Diva's got his back. She's going to protect him with her little field. But, this is Overwatch, and you got to have a new skin for everything. So she's going to be dressed like a state alchemist. Her mech is going to have, like, the Amestrian state symbol on it. She's going to be fucking dope. Yeah, she's basically going to be protecting Roy with her field. using her new little torpedoes. Thank you for the upgrade, Blizzard. So she'll be able to attack people from a distance, but also spot Roy. And together they're just, oh God, I feel bad for the Chitauri.
All right, Liz, who's charging into this battle?
This is the moment my team has lived for. The leader, King Leonidas himself, is going to be down on the streets of New York. And he's going to go, New Yorkers! Tonight, we dine at New York's finest dining establishment, shawarma! Grab a shield! And then everyone around him hears the call to battle and is just so inspired by this great, so good in shape, beautiful red cloak, leather thong man, that they're gonna grab trash can lids. One guy's gonna randomly pull out a car door, having his newfound strength. The NYPD is gonna hear this and grab their ballistic shields. The military's already there, and they're gonna bring up their tanks, and Leonidas is gonna put up his shield and lock his spear into place. Forward! And they're just gonna call all the attention of whatever Loki's alien buddies are. And they're all gonna be focusing in on this massive shield wall. I mean, tanks, cops, military, regular average Joe who wants to defend his turf. Then, while all this is happening and they have all this attention on them, Selene, with her vampire, super strength, speed, she's used to hiding in the shadows, she is going to scale the building that this portal is over. And if she gets seen, people are going to assume she's evil anyways because she's a vampire. But she's not going to get seen. And she's going to go up to that portal entrance and sabotage whatever Loki is using to call down that portal. He's not going to see her coming. Take him out, like any other target she's ever had.
Wow.
Oh, it's too bad that everyone Leonidas leads is going to die.
That's true.
She's going to get there before that happens.
Oh, God.
It's going to be epic, though.
What did Stitch die for, you monster?
All right. We're going into the last chapter now, and I'm just going to let you guys know there is a 3-way tie at the moment. So,
oh, God.
Chapter 6, The Real Threat. Amazingly, against all odds, the Avengers have managed to fight back the Chitauri invasion. Maybe your special abilities were too irresistibly powerful. Maybe you came up with a brilliant strategic plan. Or maybe you just shot a nuke through the wormhole. Whatever the reason, though, New York has been saved, as the Chitauri threat dropped to the ground like puppets with their strings cut. Your heroes have a moment to catch their breath and begin to make lunch plans, when suddenly, an evil laugh rings through the air. Descending down from the wormhole comes a new threat. You see, Loki was never the master of the Chitauri, oh no. They serve someone far greater, far more dangerous, someone that even Loki himself fears. And now, this threat has come to Earth, and is very, very eager to meet these Avengers that have caused such a headache. This is a special round. Each of you will be choosing a villainous character that your fellow hosts will be fighting as their final boss. And feel free to throw away the usual power level limitations. This is the final boss battle after all, so we can go a little nuts with this one. So, Kit, what villain has arrived on Earth to threaten Liz's Avengers?
Azathoth?
Azathoth!
Eat my Lovecraftian dick, Liz!
I don't know who this is!
It's a great old one. Like, Cthulhu worships this great old one. That's how big and great and old this one is. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. He's like massive, like the size of a planet, if not bigger.
I mean, he lives in the center of the universe.
So there you
and
go.
He's gigantic.
The sight of Azathoth alone will send any human into madness. It's just too mind-shatteringly horrifying. Probably has a lot of eyes and tentacles, if we're talking Lovecraft.
Probably, yeah. All right, great. Liz, who's the final boss of Claire's movie?
Can I say, like, every incarnation of Bahamut?
Sure!
Every Final Fantasy Bahamut ever.
Okay, a swarm of Bahamuts.
He's a epic summon in Final Fantasy that usually comes to cause absolute chaos and usually takes on the form of a dragon.
And Claire, what villain is Kit contending with?
I'm gonna go with Sarah Kerrigan and the Zerg.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So those weren't Chitauri after all.
Well, they were. They had just been Zergified.
All right, your threats have all been established. There is a dramatic swooping crane shot of your heroes assembling once again. For this round, you now have access to all of your characters, including your previously used ones. And, this is a comic book movie, so if you come up with a good way of resurrecting your dead character, you can use them too. Tell me how your complete team of Avengers takes out this newest, greatest threat to their world. Kit, how are your Avengers dealing with Sarah Kerrigan and the Zerg Swarm?
They can deal with the Zerg Swarm. As I've stated, Roy can do that by himself.
Sure, the Zerg don't like fire, so...
There you go. Diva, when she's not backing up Roy, she's dealt with invading armies as well. She's got her little, like, nullifying shield. Ed will hack into every single offensive thing, even maybe the ones that the Zerg make. Fuck it. Jace had to deal with Nicol Bolas, which is probably the scariest.
I mean, he didn't do great against Nicol Bolas, but, Nicol Bolas is on a completely different level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nicol Bolas is probably stronger than any of the Zerg bullshit. We'll be fine.
All right, great. Liz, it's your turn, and you are up against Azathoth, so make it good.
Oh, this is great. So first of all, we are going to resurrect Stitch. And how we are going to resurrect Stitch is Palpatine is finally going to reveal the secrets he learned from Darth Plagueis and bring him back to life by flowing hate through him. And, I don't know, sorry, one of Stitch's Ohana family members in Hawaii dies and he takes that. Whatever. Anyways, okay. Please see Star Wars Episode 3 for evil? Reference. So anyway, Stitch is back and he's got a fucking bone to pick. So what's gonna happen is Leonidas is gonna do a fastball special and throw Stitch right into Azathoth's mouth, his big gaping maw, but it's gonna be too small, so when Azathoth tries to clamp down on him, Stitch is too small, and if his jaws come together, Stitch is gonna be just chilling in a crack. While this is happening, Gordon Freeman, who in Half-Life 1 killed the leader of all the Zen forces, he killed him with rockets, so he's got experience dealing with large blobs of mind-controlling masses. And Celine is basically gonna go around with her guns and shoot out all of Azathoth's eyes to distract him. And Skeletor is just going to be cackling, and I'm sure it will drive Azathoth mad. But he's also going to recruit all his stupid minions and send them in as cannon fodder. So that's what Azathoth is going to be trying to take out, while everyone else wreaks havoc on the poor guy's floating mass body.
Wow. Never before have I felt so sorry for Azathoth.
Azathoth's already mad.
That's true. And Claire, tell me how your team makes their final stand against a swarm of Bahamets.
All right, so first up, it's a swarm of Bahamets? I thought it was just the one Bahamut. It's all the Bahamets?
It is every Bahamut. It is every Bahamut.
I was like, I got this. This is going to be nothing. That's just one Bahamut. But it's
and that's why it's a swarm.
So how many Bahamets is that? How many Final Fantasy?
Probably around 15 Bahamets is what we decided.
I can do 15 Bahamets. That's fine. So first up, Toph is going to be throwing giant chunks of rock and metal up into the air, trying to hit them. But because they're in the air, she's not going to be able to see them. She can only see things that are touching the ground. So she might not be the most useful. She might be missing a lot. But if there's 15 of them up there, she's going to probably hit some of them. So that'll take care of a couple of them. The next person we have up is Austin Powers, who's going to lead one of the Bahamets on a chase through the city as he drives around the Jaguar. He's going to get him to chase it, and then when it gets close, he's going to hit a button on his ejector seat and fly up into the air, and then judo chop the Bahamut in the neck and take it down. So that one's going to be taken out. And at this point, Mulan's going to realize, they just don't have the numbers to fight this many Bahamets. They would need like an army. And that's when she hears, like, over the horizon, a chorus of voices saying, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Getting louder and louder and louder. And then I'm ready! And then there's, like, similar to that shot in Mulan of, like, the army descending over the hill, there's going to be a huge army of SpongeBob SquarePantses that are coming. And she's going to realize that when Loki hit SpongeBob, he actually got knocked into a bunch of pieces. But because he's a sponge, all of them regenerated into new sponges.
Nice.
So Mulan can now command an army of SpongeBob SquarePantses to fight the Bahamets. And so that's going to work for most of them until there's just one Bahamut left. He starts fleeing, and, Makoto Kusanagi in her helicarrier body is going to be chasing him, and he's going to be trying to flee away and like shooting some blasts at her. But then his long trailing tail is going to get caught in one of the rotors, and he's going to get pulled in, and he's going to explode and destroy the helicarrier. Makoto, she can like project her consciousness into some nearby computer, so she's not going to die, but the helicarrier is going to blow up to take out the last Bahamut. And then at that point in time, Edna's going to turn towards the camera and of course say, "No tails."
Oh man, this is very difficult, but I gotta make this call. All right, tallying up the points, our winner is Claire.
Yeah, nice. It was that last one.
Yeah, that last one. No tails.
So, Liz, you won first place in the first chapter with Emperor Palpatine just brutalizing Loki. Claire won first place for Chapter 2 when the helicarrier was attacked because, honestly, even though she's up in the air, Toph was kind of the perfect person to deal with that particular threat. Claire also won first place for Chapter 3 when the helicarrier was damaged by having Major Kusanagi upload herself into the helicarrier. That was very brilliant. Chapter 4, Liz won first place again there. Kit's death speech from Mr. Furious is very funny. And Claire's death speech with SpongeBob was very charming, but Liz legitimately broke our hearts.
I'm sorry, Kit.
That has to count for something. Kit won first place with Chapter 5 in the Battle of New York because, Roy Mustang would destroy the Chitauri, especially with Diva providing fire support for him. But yes, I loved everything that you guys brought to that last chapter. The villains that you provided were ridiculous. The scenes that you outlined were great, and the way you emphasized each of your characters. But in terms of just describing something scene by scene and giving some real good character moments, Claire has to pull out a win for that last one.
Awesome.
So, Claire, congratulations. You've saved Earth from certain destruction and launched a multi-billion-dollar franchise in the process. So take a minute and tell us what your chosen characters do now that the world is safe.
Okay. So yeah, I definitely think that Mulan is going to stay in S.H.I.E.L.D. and become their new, top agent and everything. But of course, as time goes on, she may become slightly less nationalistic as she learns that the government's more corrupt than she thought, and she may have to go on the run at some point. And she's, of course, going to run into another person who was thawed from ancient China, who might in fact be one of her old friends who's been turned against her in the form of Shang.
Wow.
But I guess
Shang is the winter soldier.
He's the winter captain. I don't know. Toph's probably going to end up as a gladiator in space, as we all know.
Yep.
That seems like that's pretty much her speed. I think Edna Mode is going to have a journey where this event kind of shakes her and she has to go back and rediscover her roots, and maybe there's a small child that she meets and it makes her heart grow a little bit and she becomes less bitter from having to help a little kid out and all that kind of thing. I think that Austin Powers is probably just going to retire on a little farm in the middle of the country somewhere and just and live a simple life, raising a family of 1,000 SpongeBob SquarePants. And then I think the villain of the next movie is, of course, going to become Makoto Kusanagi as a self-aware AI who's going to take over the world. So, yeah.
Bravo, madam. Bravo. And bravo to all of you guys. You guys did so well. This was so fun. Fantastic.
Time for the Stitch Thanks.
Aw.
You're dead.
Yeah, he's a Sith now.
Oh,
Liz, I was so close to giving it to you for that Darth Stitch thing that you came up with.
Thank you to Matthias Tatimas, Florian, Vander Turner, Bradley Schmidt, Raphael Medina, Andrew Young, Decade Fan, Jake the Kid Twister, Mr. Blitzer, Syzygy.
Good job, Stitch.
Nailed it. Hayden, who is sleeping until Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, good for you, man.
Sean Bean Boyd.
Oh, yeah.
Dank Al Kidser. Thank you, Daniel Kidder. Robert Ramsey, Cam, Cosplay Fiend, Mike Booch, Sam Gash, and the Ideal Remake Podcast, Icon Jade, Duffy, and Meowingly. All right, Stitch, I'm going to take it from here.
He did good, Stitch.
You did good. All right. Jeff and Rick Present left us such a sweet DM on Twitter. It always warms our cockles to hear just a little nice word just to us. Yeah. Over Tumblr, thank you to Sid Rabbit Blog, Meowingly, FatBlunt69.
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 Stitch, you shouldn't know what those words mean.
What do they mean? What's 69? Is it 626?
Some other time.
Oh. Yeah, did they ever mean Experiment 69? Or Experiment 420?
Oh, shit. Secretly a Skeleton, G Prime, Changing Shades, and Forte Joestar. And on Facebook, thank you again to Matthias Tatimas, Adam Mayo, David Waters, Tom Groh, Duffy, and Daniel Kidder.
We also have actually several new iTunes reviews, one of which is from the US, and a couple of which are from other countries. I don't normally check non-US country iTunes reviews. I only check it once every few weeks, so I'm not sure how old the non-American reviews are, so my apologies for not getting to those sooner. I'm actually going to break them up and read them out over the next couple of episodes, just so I don't totally backload this episode with iTunes reviews. So this review comes to us from Australia. It comes from...
Does Liz have to read it? I mean, come on.
Knife. Fosters.
Okay.
No, she's just going to provide
Yeah.
Liz commentary.
That's right. She's providing the background music to an Australian review.
Shrimp on the barbie. Okay, I'm done.
So,
Sorry.
They don't say that there.
Sorry, Australian.
So this one comes to us from G Prime, who gives us 5 stars, although after that, maybe he might go back in and change it. But the review is titled, Just heard Fat Blunt 69's Just Switched to iPhone review and thought I'd better do one too.
Aww.
And the review goes, consistently one of my favorite podcasts. The hosts are charming, even Miles, and they're always entertaining. They pit 2 or more pop culture characters from different properties against each other in some kind of contest, typically a fight or a race to some objective, but they certainly don't limit themselves. Also, the fans are pretty cool folks. And I agree, certainly with that last part. So, thank you, G Prime, and we will be getting to the other reviews in near future episodes.
Thank you, G Prime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, G Prime.
And speaking of future episodes, thank you so much for joining us this week. And next week we will be back with a Smash Fiction match, in this case, a showdown of Final Fantasy characters. Tara Branford from 6 versus Tifa Lockhart from 7 versus Lightning from 13. Smash Metafiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman and production assistant Sharon Schneiderman, with logo design by Claire Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Volatile Reaction.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Smash Fiction is made possible thanks to our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/smashfictionpodcast. Please consider donating as little as $1 each month. It helps us keep the show going, and we have great rewards and extra content for those who help us out.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
You know, she was having an existential crisis being in a human-looking body.
Oh.
Well, the whole thing about Ghost in the Shell is her wanting to, like, upgrade and transcend her humanity and seek more, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
So be less human?
Yeah.
Be just a fucking helicopter.
You know, the next step in evolution is just a giant flying aircraft carrier.
I will avoid making the jokes about identifying as a attack helicopter, and we can move on.
Sure.
Sorry, kid. I should have
laughed.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
I'm not.
I know.
It was so sweet, though. I actually imagined it in my mind.
How is it sweet when someone dies?
I mean, he said inspiring words. Okay, well, Claire's in the bathroom. I was hoping she would pick SpongeBob, because I'd be like, everyone's crowded over SpongeBob, and they're all crying, and then SpongeBob absorbs their tears, even though that's not actually how sea sponges
like
work.
Fucking
but then it fucking resurrects him, and he's got like new life.
Oh my
that's
gosh. He has the
brilliant.
combined powers of all of them.
Yes, and then it's like mega sponge. It's like
God damn.
I could
That's
clean the
pretty
whole
brilliant.
house with this sponge.